Hey everybody, Chewy here, and welcome back once again to the 30-day video game challenge. Today is day 12, and today's category is the game you think that everyone should play. Now, this isn't necessarily the best game I think that's on the list. It's not necessarily the most well written, but it is the game that I think is most important for us to go out and buy, because I think, in my opinion, the gaming scene's been a little bit lackluster for the last wee while, and I kind of want to encourage people to go out and reward the mainstream doing something good for once. And the game I've chosen to pick is Dishonored. Now, Dishonored has a lot of flaws as a game. It's not that well written, and it is basically a gigantic rip-off of Thief. To my response to that would be, Thief was fucking great. And frankly, there hasn't really been anything like it since Thief. So, if some game wants to come and rip that off and combine it with a Bioshock sort of aesthetic, I can get behind that. And I think it's important that we encourage the mainstream to do the sort of thing that it perhaps has shied away from in the last decade or so. In the last decade or so, we've had very little but Modern Warfare, Battlefield, that sort of thing, and it's kind of, at least to me, has become a touch tiresome. So, if I see the mainstream doing something a little bit more interesting, a little bit different, something like Dishonored, which at least takes a look back at a game that's by and large mostly forgotten, I think it's really interesting how many people compare this game to Bioshock and not Thief, because that demonstrates how forgotten Thief is these days by a lot of people. So yeah, a game that everyone should play, Dishonored, purely because it's the mainstream doing something more new and exciting than they've perhaps been willing to do in the previous few years. And that's something that we absolutely need to encourage as gamers, because if we can encourage that, if we can vote with our dollars, if we can tell them that we want new things, we want them to look at other things other than war games and that sort of thing, if they can look at something a bit different, offer us a wee bit of a different kind of gameplay, we will buy it. And that's really what it comes down to, because the reason that these games don't get made that often, the reason that the unique games, the really great ones that we remember from when we were younger, they've kind of died out now, is because the market's much more money-based, the market's much bigger, and there's much less willingness to take a gamble like that. So when you do see somebody taking a gamble, like Dishonored, which is a completely new intellectual property, and bases itself off a game that's not particularly remembered, although it is fondly remembered by those who remember it, yeah, that's a good thing, and that's a thing that we need to encourage.